Hi guys, my name is Kasimdzhanov, and now I would like to show you one of my recent games, the one I played against Vladimir Kramnik at the Chess Olympiad 2014. This game has already been publicized quite a lot, but since it's a nice game, I take this opportunity to do this video commentary, and I hope you will like this game. I played d4 and white pieces. My opponent played knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, knight c3, and now he surprised me with knight bd7. He usually plays other moves in this position, like c5 is one of his favorites, or bishop e7. But he played knight bd7. I think he wanted to get me off my theoretical lines, and he also probably prepared knight bd7 in quite some detail himself. I played bishop f4. It's one of the main moves. The other move takes bishop g5, can lead to some Ragozin type of positions. And after bishop f4, he played dc4. Also here there are other possibilities for sure. And dc4, e3, and now he played bishop d6. The move I had never seen before, but apparently it did exist, and although it was played very, very rarely. The usual path, also the path known to me, was a6, a4, and now bishop d6. And now usually people choose between moves like bishop g5 and bishop g3. And so when he played bishop d6, I figured that with this move order there might be something wrong with bishop g5, and I figured maybe knight b6 is stronger here, and this is also not unnatural because with the pawn on a4, a5 is probably just strong, and here I am forced to take bishop c4. Well, forced is probably too strong, but I like to play bishop c4, but then he gets some ideas like knight c4, queen a4, queen d7, queen takes c4, and maybe knight d5, and some strange play which result in black having two bishops and white not really having concrete targets for attack. So I was not sure about this, so I took bishop takes d6, cd, bishop c4, because it looked like a nice and a safe choice for white. Black played a6, a4, and we soon transposed into the position which by the sheerest of accidents I knew a little bit, because it happened in the game Gelfand-Carlsen, and just by accident I looked at this recently, and in this game Gelfand doubled his rooks on the c-file, and they reached this position where Carlsen, just like Kramnik, now played queen d6, and queen d6 is actually a clear mistake. Almost any move here is better, like rook a b8 is a very natural move, or h6, or in fact even maybe g6 is not a bad move either. The problem with queen d6 is that it allows the very move it was supposed to stop. White goes knight e5 now, and I think it's clear that Kramnik prepared this line, but maybe not this particular position in great detail, because it's possible that queen d6 was just brought to him by his memory, saying that, okay, Carlsen played this against Gelfand, and he, I guess, just repeated this move. But in fact, now after knight e5, black is in serious trouble. And the point is that white is ready to go f4, and once white goes f4, then black is completely paralyzed, and can only wait for the further developments, which is really unpleasant. And so black took knight e5, takes, and queen takes b6. And now if we look at this position, then it's clear that white is getting quite some initiative. The rooks on the c-file are already creating unpleasant back rank threats, as is obvious from the line rook a b8, knight e4, where black cannot really take on e4 because of the mate, and has to make some other things like maybe rook takes c2, knight f6, gf, rook takes c2. But all in all these endgames, the weakness of a6 and the potential passed pawn on a4 make life very difficult for black. So Kramnik played rook cb8, which is a small trap of sorts. I was looking at the move f4, but then it occurred to me that black can play knight d7, and because queen e3 is a check, white has no time to move his queen anywhere profitably. So that's why I played knight e2, and black played knight d7. And this is a position actually with a huge positional advantage for white, but it is very important to find the right square for the queen, which I did not manage. I saw queen a5, d4, and this looked decent for black, because the d3 bishop is hanging after queen e5, knight e5. And I didn't see any other moves, so I just played queen d4. But as a matter of fact, queen b4 would have been a ridiculously strong continuation, not exchanging anything and threatening to penetrate the very heart of black's position on e7. So the queen appearing on e7 or d6, the knight appearing on d4, rook on c7, this would be too much for black to handle. And as I said, I didn't see any of this. I played queen d4, and I was only counting on queen d4, knight d4 being better for white. As I said, most of the endings are better for white in this structure. My opponent played queen d6, and I realized that black has this central majority which is ready to move and has to be taken seriously, and somehow I ended up playing f4 to fight against e5, although my instincts, they were actually asking me to play knight g3. I did not understand my instincts in this case because I felt knight was not doing so much on g3, but on the other hand, it does take quite some sting of e5, because then the square f5 becomes available. Also, white has some ideas like knight e4, knight c5 himself. So I actually think my instincts might have been spot on in this particular case. It is just I refuse to trust them, and I played f4, which is a weaker move actually. Black played e5, f takes e5, knight e5, and by now I understood that I probably squandered most of my advantage, because now my position is also not without weaknesses. I have this strange pawn on e3 and the bishop on d3, which is hanging in the air a little bit. And my original idea here was knight f4, and somehow, because I felt something was going slightly wrong, I also got a little bit nervous, and then I noticed that the move queen f4 is possible, and I played it without thinking very much about the consequences. I just saw that okay, I'm pinning the knight, maybe threatening knight d4 at times, and I thought, okay, this probably would be good. But as a matter of fact, if black would play rook c8 now, there would be nothing wrong with his position, and he would start exchanging of some pieces, and it's probably around equal. And instead of this, for some reason, I was only thinking about queen e7, and I was not even very surprised when my opponent played queen e7, although as the game and analysis afterwards showed, this is a really very bad move, and a very unusual mistake for a player of Kramnik's caliber. I guess well, everybody has bad days, and whilst it was a good day for me, for Kramnik, it probably wasn't. Yeah. And I played rook c7, and he played queen e8. Of course, black's idea was not knight d3, rook e7, knight f4, knight f4, which is truly horrible for black. So black played queen e8, bishop f5, knight c4, and basically this is the idea. Black is attacking the pawn on e3, while also attacking the pawn on b2, but otherwise his play is extremely risky, because he has this cluster of pieces on the queen side, and while he's very close to completely dominating the position if he manages to establish some sort of control. And I was calculating here all sorts of continuations, and then it turned out that the continuation which looked the most natural to me was also working, and I played bishop d7. The point is that what I did not see at once, after queen takes e3, queen takes, knight takes. Black has two problems in his position. One is, as I said, this cluster of pieces which can be developed properly, and the other is the knight on e3, which can actually be caught after I go b3, cutting the knight from e3. So I was thinking b3, but then d4 works, and knight goes back to d5 and kicks quite a bit of my pieces in between. And I was thinking knight d4 to stop that, but then I thought knight c4 and knight e5 will bring black back into the game. And I don't really understand why it took me so long to realize this, but in fact after knight c4, white has knight c6, winning material decisively, and bishop c6 is no consolation for black. And once I saw this, it all grows together very nicely, because black is actually completely lost after knight d4. I mean, he can still fight against the threat of knight c6, for instance a5, but then b3 actually completely surrounds the knight on e3, and black is actually really dominated here completely. And so after bishop d7, Kramnik played queen f8, but now this is really very bad for black. b3, knight b6, bishop f5, and he still tried d4, trying to activate his knight via d5, but in fact by now it's really too late. And here white wins in a lot of different ways, but I really felt attracted to rook takes f7, because it is very rare that you get an opportunity to make a move like this against such a strong player. And this is basically over. After queen takes f7, bishop h7, king f8, queen d6 wins the black queen. And after king f7, as was played in the game, bishop h7, not allowing the king to return to safety, mates quite easily and by force, as you will easily establish for yourself. So this was a very nice game to win. Whilst my game was not flawless by any means, still I thought it was a reasonably interesting game with a beautiful finale. What I did not realize is that after knight c4, white had a win which was even more spectacular, and I only understood this when I returned home and checked the position with my computer. Whilst bishop d7 is a really clean, a really strong solution, which I was rightly happy about, white also had this stunning rook takes f7 here. And as opposed to the game, this one has a really sophisticated touch to it. Now black is forced to take queen takes f7, bishop h7, king f8, and queen d4. White threatens rook f1, and the following moves are quite forced: king e8, rook f1, queen e7, and now there is this really beautiful combination: bishop g6, king d8, rook f7. It feels completely unnatural to allow queen takes e3 with check, but this is the whole point of white's play. After queen takes e3, queen e3, knight e3, knight d4, surprisingly enough, is just checkmate, and the black pieces are so discoordinated that he can do absolutely nothing to avoid knight e6 check and rook c7 mate. And after bishop c8, knight c6 mates in the following way. And whilst, as I said, bishop d7 is a really clean solution, rook f7 on the other hand would have been a really beautiful one. And once again, this line, I find this, well, to put it mildly, I find it breathtaking to allow queen e3 with check and to mate like this. But unfortunately, things like this don't usually happen in tournament games, as also in this case. At least I'm happy I found a different solution which was as clean and that I didn't spoil this game, because otherwise that would have been really unpleasant. But even if this did not happen in the tournament game, in this particular position, I'm still happy that at least in analysis I stumbled upon it, because I had this one of those moments where you really enjoy the game of chess. And I hope you like the game as well. Take care.